Eric Laws was a man whose roots and heart belonged to the small village of Hoxne in Suffolk, England, where he dedicated his life to serving the community. His early years saw him engaged in various vocations that connected him intimately with the land and its people. As a youth, he delivered goods to his neighbors, tilled the soil as a farmer, cared for gardens, and served his country as a soldier during trying times. Later, he found stability in employment with the regional electricity board, ensuring his fellow villagers kept their lights on and their homes warm. His career spanned 3 decades, during which he became a fixture in the local community, his service stretching beyond the mere duties of his job. Eric's retirement marked the end of an era for him and his colleagues at the board, a transition that prompted reflections on his reliable and steadfast contributions over the years. An ordinary man stumbled upon one of history's greatest forgotten treasures. When the time came for Eric Laws to retire after 30 years of service with the electricity board, his colleagues knew they couldn't let him go without a proper farewell. They were grateful for his years of dedication, and they wanted to gift him something special, a token of appreciation that would honor his long-standing commitment. Recognizing the importance of commemorating such a milestone, they approached Laws with a question that aimed to celebrate his career. What retirement gift would bring him joy? Eric's colleagues eagerly awaited his response, ready to present him with something that would mark his transition from a life of work to one of leisure. Eric's request for a metal detector as his retirement gift was received with surprise. It was an unassuming choice, especially given the decades of service he had rendered, a request that reflected not grandeur, but the simplicity of a man interested in the quiet pleasure of discovery. He had never been a treasure hunter, never even dabbled in metal detecting, yet, as retirement loomed, the allure of uncovering hidden gems from beneath the Earth's surface beckoned to him. Laws was drawn to the idea of finding lost artifacts, of touching pieces of history that had been forgotten by time. It was a hobby that promised adventure and a connection to the past, an activity that seemed to whisper of secrets waiting just beneath the soil of his beloved Hoxne. With metal detector in hand, Eric Laws began his search, combing the English countryside for hidden treasures. His initial attempts were modest, yielding nothing more than everyday discards, trinkets without stories, debris devoid of history. Despite the humble beginnings, Laws persevered, his curiosity undeterred by the common finds. His endeavors soon became a topic of local conversation, with neighbors intrigued by the sight of Eric, earphones on, sweeping his detector back and forth across the fields. Little did they know, and least of all Eric himself, that his persistence would soon be rewarded in a manner beyond anyone's imagination. It was during these early days of exploration that Laws received a call for assistance from a friend, a farmer in need. The farmer had misplaced his hammer amidst the vast expanse of his fields, a needle in a haystack predicament that seemed perfectly suited for Eric's new hobby. The farmer, knowing of Eric's recent retirement gift, had hoped that the metal detector could reunite him with his lost tool. With a spirit of neighborly goodwill, Laws agreed to help, unaware that this search would lead him to something far greater than the farmer's missing hammer. Ready to assist, Eric Laws set out for his friend's farm, metal detector in hand, expecting a routine search for the misplaced hammer. Yet, as he began sweeping the fields, the detector's signals were unexpectedly strong, suggesting something substantial beneath the soil. Excitement built as Laws anticipated uncovering the hammer, but what awaited him would surpass the simple retrieval he had in mind. With each step and sweep, the detector's alerts grew more insistent, leading Laws to a specific patch of earth that seemed to hum with hidden potential. As Eric Laws dug into the soil, expecting to find the farmer's lost hammer, he instead unearthed the first glimpse of something extraordinary: a coin, aged and tarnished, yet unmistakably valuable. The sight of the ancient currency sent a rush of adrenaline through him, compelling him to delve deeper into the earth. His shovel cut through the dirt with renewed vigor as he pondered the significance of his find. Each scoop of soil brought with it a mounting sense of wonder. What other secrets did this unassuming field hold? Law's hands worked quickly to remove the dirt and debris from around the initial discovery, revealing more than he had bargained for. Silver spoons emerged from the earth, intricately crafted and preserved. As he continued to clear the soil, a trove of artifacts began to materialize, shimmering hints of a hidden hoard that expanded with every careful brush stroke. Eric's heart raced as he unearthed item after item, each one unearthing a story buried for centuries. The significance of his find became increasingly apparent. He had stumbled upon a historical cache of immense value and mystery. Recognizing the magnitude of his discovery, Laws didn't hesitate to involve others. He immediately notified the farmer, who, in turn, swiftly contacted the authorities and the local archaeological society. The police arrived, followed by experts eager to uncover the extent of Law's find. The fields of Hoxne, which had remained silent on the history buried beneath for so long, were now abuzz with activity as professionals descended upon the site. Together, they began the meticulous work of excavating and documenting the remarkable array of artifacts that Eric Laws had chanced upon. The discovery that Eric Laws stumbled upon was of astonishing magnitude, with a collection of thousands of coins crafted from gold, silver, and bronze emerging from the depths of the earth. Each coin was a miniature work of art, an ancient artifact bearing the marks and authority of the Roman emperors who had once ruled over vast territories. But the bounty did not end there. The soil yielded an array of silver utensils, the kind that graced the tables of the wealthy and powerful, alongside exquisite pieces of gold jewelry that once adorned the elite of Roman Britain. These artifacts painted a vivid picture of opulence and artistry, a reminder of the sophisticated culture that flourished under Roman influence. The hoard was not simply a collection of valuables, it was a portal to a bygone era, each item narrating a story of its origins, its craftsmanship, and the hands through which it had passed. The task of dating these remarkable finds fell to a team of archaeologists who initially placed their creation around 400 ACE, situating them squarely within the twilight of Britain's tenure as a Roman colony. This period was characterized by a fusion of Roman and native cultures, a time when the Roman Empire's influence was still palpable across the island. To refine their understanding of the hoard's chronology, the archaeologists recognized the need for carbon dating, a scientific method that could devoid of organic material that could be carbon dated. The archaeologists resorted to the coins themselves to unlock the secrets of the hoard's origins. Peter Guest, a prominent archaeologist, found that the coins held the key to dating the collection. Their designs, inscriptions, and wear patterns offered a wealth of information. It became clear that these coins weren't merely currency, they were historical documents, engraved with the faces of emperors and inscriptions of their reigns. They provided a chronological framework that allowed the archaeologists to trace the lineage of Roman rule in Britain and to determine the relative age of the hoard. The most revealing aspect of the coins was the widespread evidence of clipping, a practice that saw the removal of precious metal from their circumference. This act of defacement, which would be considered a criminal offense today, was in fact a strategic response to the economic conditions of ancient Britain. Peter Guest observed that a staggering 98% of the nearly 15,000 coins had been subjected to this practice. The modification not only signified an act of economic ingenuity, but also a silent form of resistance and resilience by a population left to fend for itself in the aftermath of Roman withdrawal. The end of Roman governance in Britain left the country in a state of economic uncertainty, with the steady flow of new coins ceasing altogether. The Britons, left with a finite supply of Roman coinage, resorted to recycling the metal from the edges of these coins to produce new ones, effectively stretching their limited monetary resources. This adaptive strategy ensured the continued circulation of currency in a society where new coinage was no longer available. It was a testament to the resourcefulness of the people who inhabited the island in the wake of the Roman Empire's retreat. Armed with the knowledge of clipping and the historical context of Roman Britain's economic strategies, Guest and his fellow archaeologists delved into the chemical composition of the coins. Their analyses confirmed that many coins had indeed been created from the clipped edges of older currency. This finding corroborated their theory, pinpointing the likely burial of the hoard to a time shortly after 407 ACE, the generally accepted date marking the end of Roman rule in Britain. The coins thus served as a tangible link to a pivotal moment in British history, bridging the gap between the Roman past and the emergent post-Roman future. The treasure that Laws uncovered, christened as the Hoxne hoard, swiftly gained recognition as an archaeological marvel. Its designation as the largest hoard of its kind in Britain encapsulated its significance, but even more impressive was its status as the greatest assemblage of late Roman gold and silver coins unearthed across the expanse of the erstwhile Roman Empire. The Hoxne hoard represented not just a collection of valuables, but a snapshot of history preserved in precious metal, offering unparalleled insights into the economic, cultural, and artistic life of 4th and 5th century Roman Britain. The historical and cultural value of the Hoxne hoard did not go unnoticed, and it wasn't long before the British Museum in London took possession of these priceless artifacts for preservation and display. The transfer of these treasures to the museum ensured that they would be protected and studied for generations to come, their stories shared with the public. But Eric Lawes, the man who unearthed this window into the past, was not forgotten. In recognition of his historic discovery, he was awarded a substantial sum, reflecting the significance of his contribution to Britain's archaeological heritage. Eric Lawes received a reward befitting the scale of his extraordinary find. The sum of £1.75 million, a fortune that would be worth double that amount in today's currency, was bestowed upon him for bringing the Hoxne hoard to light. True to his community-oriented nature, Lawes opted to share the windfall with his friend, the farmer on whose land the treasure had lain hidden for centuries. With his share, Lawes established a new home in Denham, a testament to the life-altering power of archaeological discovery. His experience stands as a beacon to other metal detectorists, though subsequent finds by others have sometimes led to complex legal and ethical quandaries, a stark contrast to the straightforward fortune that smiled upon Lawes. In the quaint village of Lindsay, Suffolk, on July 26, 2020, a routine day took an extraordinary turn for 40-year-old Luke Mahoney and his companions, Matt Brown and Dan Hunt. The trio, armed with metal detectors, began their search near the local pub, the Lindsay Rose, without any hint of the historic discovery that awaited them. They walked the field that they had trodden many times before, their detectors sweeping the ground in steady arcs, buzzing quietly as they scanned the earth. Little did they know that just beneath the surface lay a treasure that would soon captivate the local community and metal detectorists nationwide. That day's hunt, which started as a pursuit of hobby and history, was about to transform into a remarkable moment of triumph. As their detectors hummed and whirred, a signal pierced the usual static, a signal that promised something more significant than the usual scattered coins or farm tools lost to time. Luke Mahoney's passion for metal detecting had long been a fixture in the countryside of Lindsay. Over the years, he had scoured the surrounding fields with the hope of uncovering hidden artifacts, his anticipation never waning despite numerous fruitless searches. The landlord of the Lindsay Rose pub had watched Mahoney's relentless pursuit, likely with a blend of amusement and curiosity. Yet, despite Mahoney's dedication and the countless hours spent combing the earth, the elusive trove that every treasure hunter dreams of had remained just out of reach until that pivotal day when the ordinary turned extraordinary, and the persistent beeps of his metal detector signaled the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Then, amidst the calm behind the Lindsay Rose, the steady beeping of Mahoney's detector crescendoed into a chorus of excitement, leading him to an assemblage of over 1,000 coins, a trove that spanned centuries. These coins whispered tales of Elizabethan England and the tumult of the English Civil War, bearing silent witness to the rise and fall of monarchs and the turning of history's wheel. As Mahoney, Brown, and Hunt unearthed coin after coin, they realized that their find was not just significant, it was historic. Each metallic disc, stained by time, was a piece of a narrative that stretched back over 400 years, a tangible connection to the lives and transactions of individuals from a distant past. Elated by their discovery, the trio hastened to inform the landlord of the Lindsay Rose, keen to share the magnitude of their find with someone who had seen Mahoney's pursuit from its earliest days. As word spread, they knew they had to protect the site. It was too precious, too vulnerable to the greed of treasure seekers. For several nights they stood guard over their field of fortune, the gravity of their discovery growing with each passing hour. And as they watched over the land, the coins lying silent beneath, the truth became clear. They had unearthed more than just metal, they had found a legacy. The British countryside is no stranger to buried treasures, and Mahoney's story echoes previous finds of remarkable significance. In 2019, Detectorists Adam Staples and Lisa Grace, while instructing novices in the art of metal detecting in the Chew Valley of Somerset, stumbled upon a staggering find. The land revealed its hidden riches as over 2,500 Norman coins emerged from the soil, each bearing the marks of a bygone era. It was a discovery that highlighted the depth of history beneath our feet and the potential for anyone with a metal detector and a sense of curiosity to touch the fabric of the past. On that fateful day, as Staples and Grace guided their friends through the motions of metal detecting, the beeping of their devices became a clarion call of history resurfacing. Hours of effort unearthed a cache of ancient currency, as if the ground itself was yielding up its secrets to those patient enough to listen. The Norman coins they discovered spoke of the past's opulence and the flow of wealth through the ages, an echo of England's medieval legacy. Their experience underlined the potential of metal detecting to not just find lost items, but to rediscover lost chapters of history. The value of Grace and Staples' find was beyond the wildest dreams of many historians and hobbyists, estimated at an awe-inspiring £5 million. But the significance of historical artifacts extends beyond their monetary worth, as Michelle Vall's discovery would demonstrate. Her discovery of a 17th-century gold ring on the shores of Loch Lomond, Scotland, led her to the auction block where the ring fetched over £17,000. The ring's potential connection to Edward Coleman, a figure linked to King Charles II, wove a narrative thread connecting the personal to the historical, demonstrating how even seemingly small finds can illuminate the lives of individuals in the annals of time. The discovery by the shores of Loch Lomond proved that treasures need not date back to antiquity to be of extraordinary value. Vall's ring was a glittering piece of history, a personal adornment that carried with it stories of power and protection in the Stuart court. Despite the government's decision not to purchase the ring, its significant value was recognized at auction. The connection to Edward Coleman, a notable historical figure, added layers of intrigue and importance to the find, painting a vivid picture of 17th-century life and its entanglement with monarchy and conflict. Just as the earth revealed its riches to Mahoney, Vall, and others, it also bestowed upon a young boy in Northern Ireland an unexpected gift. Fionn Hughes, merely a decade into his life and wielding a metal detector newly received for his birthday, soon found himself the keeper of a relic from the 18th century. The sword he uncovered spoke of battles and honor, of a time when such weapons were not just tools, but symbols of status and power. Hughes' discovery is a testament to the enduring allure of metal detecting, an endeavor that transcends age and speaks to the universal human fascination with the past. While the historic and monetary values of Hughes' find are still being assessed, the experience itself is priceless. Metal detecting, as Mahoney suggests, is akin to fishing. Each outing is a cast into the unknown, with the potential for a grand tale at the end of the line. The thrill of discovery fuels the hobby, the prospect of unearthing a piece of the past that has waited silently for centuries. For 6.5 years she had lived with the trauma of having some stranger in her home while she slept, losing her valuables, and being told over and over that she would never see them again. Mahoney's passion for metal detecting is not a fleeting interest, it has been a constant pursuit spanning over a decade. His dedication to the hobby has taken him beyond the borders of Lindsay, across the seas to foreign lands in search of historical artifacts. Upon moving to Lindsay in 2015, Mahoney brought his passion with him, integrating himself into the fabric of the village and its landscape. With each venture into the fields, he carries with him a deep-seated love for uncovering the secrets of the soil, a love that has now been rewarded with a discovery that has etched his name into the annals of metal detecting legends. Metal detecting is not just a pastime for Luke Mahoney, it's a passion that has blossomed into a livelihood. At Joan Allen Electrics, the store he runs, he equips fellow treasure hunters with the tools of the trade, fostering a community of enthusiasts united by a love for discovery. His dedication to this pursuit is evident in his encouragement of others to delve into the world of metal detecting, a recommendation he shared with the readers of the Daily Mail. It is a pastime that offers more than just the possibility of treasure, it offers the excitement of exploration, the joy of connection with history, and the hope of a remarkable find. By the summer of 2020, Mahoney had become a familiar figure in the fields behind the Lindsay Rose pub, sweeping the land with his metal detector, each beep and signal a potential story from the past. This hobby, which requires both patience and optimism, had become a significant part of his life. Joined by his friends Brown and Hunt on that fateful July morning, the trio set out with their equipment, their senses attuned to the slightest indication of metal beneath the soil. As they combed the recently harvested field, the anticipation was palpable, a feeling all metal detectorists know well, the sense that history was within reach, just waiting to be rediscovered. The morning's work bore fruit almost immediately for Mahoney and his friends, as the earth yielded a beautiful gold coin and a small sixpence items that teased the larger bounty to come. The discovery was a tantalizing prelude that spurred them on, but with the midday sun climbing high, they took a break for lunch at the Lindsay Rose. It was a Sunday ritual, a moment of camaraderie and respite that held the promise of more treasures to come in the afternoon's search. The coins were a mere hint at what lay beneath the soil, an ancient puzzle they were determined to piece together. After lunch, spirits high and bellies full, the trio returned to the field, and their detectors once again began to sing the song of hidden metal. The signals came in quick succession, pulling them deeper into the mystery. Coin after coin emerged from the ground, relics from the era of Charles I, revealing the scope of the find. With each discovery, the realization set in. They were standing on a historical gold mine. The thrill of the hunt was now intermingled with the gravity of their find, and they knew that this was a moment they would never forget. Armed with his specially designed stainless steel shovel, Mahoney began to dig, driven by the beeps of his detector and the promise of antiquity. The soil relented under his efforts, releasing its grip on the silver coins that had been buried for centuries. Each new find added to the growing chaos and excitement of the moment. The coins seemed to appear endlessly, as if a chapter of history was unfolding before them. It was a rush of adrenaline, a sense of pandemonium mixed with disbelief, as the discovery surpassed their wildest expectations. Mahoney's shovel finally struck an earthenware vessel, the resting place of the treasure that had lain undisturbed for generations. As they unearthed the pot, the sense of connection to the past was palpable. Within its confines, more coins awaited their release from the clutches of time. It was a moment of pure wonder, the kind that every historian and archaeologist dreams of. Coming face to face with a direct link to those who walked the earth before us. Elated, Mahoney didn't hesitate to involve the landlord of the Lindsay Rose, Charlie Buckle. The 25-year-old publican, familiar with Mahoney's frequent tales of minor finds, was initially skeptical. Yet, Mahoney's insistence and the magnitude of the discovery compelled Buckle to see the find for himself. Upon his arrival, any doubts quickly dissolved, replaced by awe at the sight of history unearthed. It was a discovery that would echo through the village of Lindsay, capturing the imagination of everyone who heard the tale. In the wake of such an extraordinary find, Mahoney knew he had a responsibility to adhere to England's strict treasure-finding protocols. He reported the hoard to the local coroner and the finds liaison officer, fulfilling his legal duty as a detectorist. But even with the authorities notified, Mahoney's role in safeguarding the treasure was far from over. The excitement around the discovery was matched only by the gravity of protecting it from those who might seek to claim a piece of history for themselves. Mahoney's concern for the security of the hoard was not unfounded. Across the British countryside, a shadowy conflict rages between legal detectorists and the nighthawks who plunder archaeological sites for profit. Historic sites like Hadrian's Wall have fallen prey to these looters, and Mahoney was determined to prevent the Lindsay hoard from becoming another casualty. The tranquil rural landscape hid a battle for heritage, with nighthawks ever eager to exploit the discoveries of others. The threat of nighthawks turned Mahoney into a guardian of the past, as he spent sleepless nights watching over the field where he had made his historic find. Armed with nothing but his determination, Mahoney kept vigil in his car, catching fleeting moments of rest. It was a testament to his dedication to preserving the integrity of the discovery. Nighthawks, professionals in the theft of history, were a real and present danger, and Mahoney's watchful presence was all that stood between them and the hoard. The specter of nighthawks loomed large in Mahoney's mind, driving him to extraordinary lengths to protect his find. The potential for these thieves to sweep in and scatter the coins across the black market was a risk he could not take. So, he embraced the role of the vigilante, steadfast in his car through the night, ensuring that no opportunistic plunderer could lay hands on the hoard. His dedication to safeguarding this piece of history was unwavering, even as the weight of paranoia and the responsibility of his discovery weighed heavily upon him. Luke Mahoney's vigilance following his historic discovery proved prescient when he stumbled upon a discarded headphone casing in the field. This small piece of evidence suggested that someone had indeed trespassed in an attempt to locate and steal the cache of coins. Mahoney interpreted this find as a clear violation, a sign that his concerns about nighthawks were not unfounded. The quiet field behind the Lindsay Rose, once a simple stretch of rural land, had transformed into a contested treasure ground. The mere presence of this foreign object amidst the crops was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of his find. It underscored the need for constant vigilance and protection against those who would exploit the historical wealth for personal gain, disregarding the archaeological significance of the hoard. As of now, the story of the coins uncovered by Mahoney remains partially veiled in mystery, with their precise age and backstory still subjects of speculation and research. Experts suspect that these coins were deliberately buried for safekeeping during the tumultuous years of the English Civil War, a desperate act by someone hoping to outlast the uncertainty of those times. This era of conflict, where Cavaliers clashed with Roundheads, was marked by upheaval in the reshaping of the nation's future. It's believed that amidst this chaos, a local individual, perhaps of considerable means, buried their wealth in what they hoped would be a temporary measure. The assumption is that the individual who buried the coins was compelled to join the conflict and thus took measures to secure their wealth. It is likely they envisioned a return, a day when they would recover their treasure from its hiding place, behind what is now the Lindsay Rose pub. But history tells us that many who went off to fight in the English Civil War never came back. They became part of the tragic toll of casualties. Thus, the owner's fortune remained buried, untouched for centuries, a silent witness to the ebb and flow of history above. Over the ensuing years, the field where the coins lay hidden saw seasons come and go, with the soil above them turned and tilled, never revealing the riches it concealed. That is until, perhaps, a farming implement unknowingly struck the vessel that held the coins, causing a fracture. This accident might have brought the container closer to the surface, setting the stage for its ultimate discovery. Had it not been for this twist of fate and Mahoney's persistent pursuit of metal detecting, this remnant of a bygone era might have remained buried for many more generations. Among the cache, the coin that stands out for its age is an Elizabethan shilling, minted sometime between 1573 and 1578, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. This singular coin hints at the long history of the hoard, which predominantly consists of half-crowns from the time of Charles I, precisely from a period straddling the onset of the Civil War. The predominance of coins from this era in the find suggests that they were buried in the early throes of the unrest, likely by someone whose loyalty lay with the royalist cause. The relevance of the Civil War to this find cannot be overstated. During these troubled times, royalist forces were in dire need of funds to maintain the allegiance of their soldiers. In response to this financial strain, ad hoc mints were established within the walls of several castles, creating currency out of necessity. These makeshift mints often used silver plate and other valuables, melted down and struck into coins, making every piece minted during this period a symbol of the royalist struggle for survival. The historical context of these coins imbues them with additional significance for collectors and historians alike. The coins not only represent a form of currency, but also a physical remnant of the war's impact on society and the royalists' ingenuity in the face of adversity. The castles that housed these emergency mints each have their own stories, adding layers of narrative value to the currency they produced. Collectors prize these coins not just for their material worth, but for the rich historical tapestry they are woven into. Coins minted during the Civil War carry with them tales of a nation divided, of a monarchy in turmoil, and of the shifting sands of power. These pieces of eight, as they were commonly known, became a lifeline for a cause on the brink of collapse. The relocation of the official mint to Oxford alongside the royal court further underscores the desperate measures taken to sustain the royalist effort. Each coin from this period is a snapshot of history, a marker of the social, economic, and political forces at play during one of England's most defining conflicts. Nigel Mills, an expert in coin valuation, has placed a significant estimate on the worth of each Charles I coin found by Mahoney. At auction, these coins could command a price of up to £75 each. But should a connection to a particular event or figure in history be established, their value could skyrocket. Mills suggests that the Lindsay hoard, with its storied origins, has the potential to captivate collectors and historians, thereby fetching a substantial sum when it eventually goes to auction. The estimated worth of the Lindsay hoard, as appraised by Mills, places it in the realm of £100,000, translating to approximately $130,000. For Mahoney, an amateur detectorist, this figure represents the culmination of years of patient searching, the kind of windfall that most hobbyists can only fantasize about. Yet, despite this impressive valuation and the excitement it brings, Mahoney has remained grounded. The discovery hasn't inflated his ego, rather, it seems to have reaffirmed his love for the hobby and his appreciation for the historical narratives that each find represents. Luke Mahoney has expressed a clear and heartfelt desire for the coins he discovered to benefit the community, particularly through local museums where the historical significance of the coins can be fully appreciated and shared with the public. Speaking with The Telegraph, he envisioned the proceeds from the sale of the hoard as a way to honor the collective effort and camaraderie that he, Dan Hunt, and Matt Brown shared during their remarkable discovery. While UK treasure laws dictate that the landowner is entitled to a share of the proceeds, Mahoney and his friends anticipate a substantial reward that acknowledges their role in uncovering a slice of buried history. This reward, while financially beneficial, carries with it the satisfaction of having contributed to the preservation of heritage and the enrichment of historical knowledge. Mahoney's statement reflects not only his commitment to the ethical standards of metal detecting, but also his deep respect for the historical artifacts that he has helped bring to light. The success of Mahoney's find can be attributed in part to his choice of metal detector, the Minilab Equinox 800, which he credits as a crucial factor in their triumph. His praise for the device is not just an endorsement of its technical capabilities, but also a testament to the difference that quality equipment can make in the field of metal detecting. Mahoney's confidence in his detector was so high that he dismissed concerns about other detectorists, colloquially known as nighthawks, potentially finding the treasure. He was convinced that their inferior equipment would not match the precision and sophistication of the Minilab, a belief that ultimately proved to be correct. The Equinox 800, crafted by the Australian company Minilab, represents the pinnacle of metal detecting technology. Mahoney's loyalty to this model is unshakable. He considers it unparalleled in the market, so much so that the thought of using another detector has never crossed his mind. His enthusiasm for the Equinox 800 is rooted in its user-friendly design, which simplifies the treasure hunting process. According to Mahoney, the machine's intuitive nature allows it to differentiate between various metals, even identifying specific objects like keys buried beneath the ground, making it an indispensable tool for any serious metal detectorist. At Minilab, the discovery by one of their own customers was a cause for celebration and optimism. Michelle Myers, vice president of global marketing, shared her excitement with the Daily Mail, conveying the collective pride felt by the Minilab team upon hearing of Mahoney's significant find. This sentiment wasn't just about the success of their product, it was about the thrill of discovery, the unlocking of history, and the joy that comes from uncovering treasures that have been hidden for centuries. Minilab's enthusiasm for Mahoney's achievement is a reflection of the company's passion for metal detecting and the exploration of the past. Myers continued to share in the excitement of Mahoney's find, recognizing the dedication and expertise that he brought to his hobby. Minilab understood the significance of such a find and immediately offered their assistance to ensure that Mahoney had all the support he needed to navigate the aftermath of his discovery. From advising on legal protocols to engaging with historical authorities, Minilab stood ready to help one of their seasoned metal detectorists make the most of his find. This support highlighted the company's commitment to the metal detecting community and to the preservation of historical artifacts. Emphasizing the importance of responsible metal detecting, Myers reminded potential detectorists about the legal requirements that govern their pursuits. The Treasure Act 1996 in the UK sets forth the guidelines that must be followed to ensure finds are reported and handled properly, protecting the country's archaeological heritage. This reminder serves as an important notice to those who are inspired by Mahoney's success, signaling that while the rewards of metal detecting can be significant, they must be pursued with respect for the law and for the historical significance of any items discovered. Looking to the future, Myers and the Minilab team are eager to see what further discoveries Mahoney might unearth with his Minilab Equinox 800. The excitement around Mahoney's find has the potential to inspire a new wave of enthusiasts to explore the fields and hidden corners of Suffolk and beyond. The tantalizing possibility that there are more undiscovered treasures out there serves as an invitation to adventure, a call to those with the spirit of exploration to take up their metal detectors in the quest for hidden historical gems. With Mahoney's remarkable discovery as a beacon, the allure of metal detecting is likely to captivate even more seekers of buried history. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.